Good morning, everybody. Gotta get all these social media hashtag Twitch, hashtag or Hammer 40K, hashtag Rogue Trader post. You know, I have a Reddit account. Are you allowed to? Yeah, fuck it. Did that work? I wanted it to. It did not. Maybe I can I put... Oh, you know what? I will put the link right here as a comment on my own thing, which... yeah, put it right there. Okay. Alright, I think, what do I have left to do? Tell people we're live. is. Alright, I think that's good. I think that's everything. So, we are gonna jump right back in here. Stream save, load game. So, first, we're gonna head back to the Thunderfang, drop off. Oh. Lord Captain. There is some commotion on the officer's deck. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom, where uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Perhaps you should find out what brought Cassia to the deck. Sure. I guess this is, I think since we're playing a dude, I think this is our first opportunity to, like, show Cassia that we're interested in her romantically, because she is a romance option. Which I think I want to do for this playthrough. I think, I want to do that.
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
Oh, I see you are fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves, and I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing. Urak 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
The events that took place on Urak 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well, Cassia?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Trying to moderate the sound here, because it seemed a little quiet on my reading, but who knows? Well, I hope you've had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior in your question just now insulting.
I'm sorry. Your only attendant is your valet from Urak 5. Do my servants not measure up to your standards?
No. It is not that at all, Lord Captain. It is just that Uwe is quite capable of carrying out his duties by himself. He is well accustomed to my whims and preferences.
Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is unsurprising, then, that Cassia prefers the company of one who is used to how she looks.
Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying? You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I. I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
I am beginning to think, Lady Acacia, that the feelings I have for you are far more complicated than common sympathy.
Lord Captain? So many colorful sparks are flaring to life and dimming all around you. It is a veritable ocean of emotions. There are so many of them that I can barely see the pure white sincerity of your words. Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urak 5. So why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here? At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but my delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
I would not dare make fun of a lady's feelings, especially not one who has captivated me who's captivated me since I first met eyes on her.
Words like that, Lord Captain, could easily be misconstrued. You should familiarize yourself with some of the works in your library to learn the appropriate manner of conversing with a lady.
I think that went well. You know, any conversation where you tell a navigator that you're interested in them, that doesn't end with you being immediately evaporated, is a good conversation. So I think that went well. Sorry, I'm just reminding myself of my build here. Yeah, mind over matter, mastery of time. Whenever an ally in combat gains an extra turn, the navigator gets +5 to willpower, up to 25, which is great. Because her willpower, I believe, affects the damage of this. Yes, it does. So that'll bring her up to willpower 90. So that's maximum of 32 damage, right? No, sorry, 22 damage. Yeah, 19 to 22 damage. Resistance test. Or become stuck, yeah. All creatures within the area of effect, unlimited range. I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure there is a maximum range to this ability. Can't tell you what that is, but I'm pretty sure there is one. Do I not? I don't have my second officer ability yet. What am I going to take? I mean, Air of Authority is nice, because, if I give everybody +5 resolve over the course of a fight, eventually that is going to be, that is going to be like 5, 10, 15. I don't know if I can do it to myself. But that'll be like 20 extra, 20 extra fucking Momentum per fight, which is pretty good. Get back in the fight's nice for, being able to heal. Break their ranks. Um, Equal to 3 multiplied by the number of enemies adjacent to the target when this ability is used. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy because that, if Abelard is around like 4 or 5 people, when his turn starts, I could give him like 15 or 16 bonus damage. And sure, I think yeah. Which then on top of that with Reckless Strike means he'll get another 8 damage from Reckless Strike. So that could get crazy, actually. Move is nice. Because that's just 6 extra movement is pretty good. It's also an extra turn, technically. Take aim. Next target will ignore cover and have double the effective distance. That's insane, actually, because for Argenta specifically, that would allow her to if the target is under the effects of voice of command, the target will ignore enemy dodge. That's also insane. And damage from the attack cannot be reduced below 48% for any reason. So that's basically just free 50% armor pen. Not even 50%. That could be more than 50% armor pen effectively, because some enemies have like 130% armor. Maybe, okay. I might, okay, I think I know what I think I'm going to take Break Their Ranks for Abelard and Take Aim, because I get 2 abilities eventually. I get a second ability over here. Take Aim and Break Their Ranks for, Abelard and Argenta respectively. But also, Cassia left us a book. Secret of Gallant Conduct: How to Express Your Feelings to a Noble Lady. Not actually going to read all this out loud, but this is going to be an incredibly important document to keep on hand. Going forward. An admirer. Really not sure where I got all that scrap from, but hey, we take those, I guess. Um, yeah, and I have things I need to send to cargo, so like this goes to cargo. Those do not get equipped. Oh, actually, the Ratobi pattern lasgun is a slightly better lasgun. It's got 5, missing the 5% armor pen, but it's got a whole extra point of damage, which is worth way more than 5 armor pen, frankly speaking. And again, it's really just about add to cargo. Add to cargo. Add to cargo, because I'm never putting that on Cassia. And we're keeping the book. Alright. Back to the Wojcik Bridge. I wish... I really do wish that there was like a more hold on, actually, can I look at the Corpus Valentius? Will you tell me about Resolve better? Dictionary. No, that's... Okay. R. Nope, it's the exact same. Which is a shame. Okay, actually, I don't think there's a new... Oh shit, hold on. Can I talk to you? No. There's supposed to be a guy here. I know there is. I've spoken to him in a different game. I'm not sure where he went. Cassia.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Tell me about yourself, Cassia.
I am a part of House Orselio, an ancient dynasty of the Navis nobility. Since time immemorial, our family has served to advance knowledge, pushing at the boundaries of the dark unknown. The Starway Atlas contains 2,843 routes that chart the sectors of the Segmentum Obscurus and reach all the way from the Coronis Expanse to Holy Terra. And uniting the Imperium's thousands of worlds. House Orselio is bound by commercial pacts to houses Galeatis, Ortina, Drotus, and... There is a dark blue knot tightening on your neck, Lord Captain. I can see my reply is not satisfying your thirst for knowledge. What is it you desire to hear exactly?
Navigators identify so strongly with their house. It must be difficult for you not to be able to lean on your elders. But you have my word that I will look after you.
You will? That would be most appreciated, Lord Captain.
Tell me about your life on the station.
My stay on the station was wholly dedicated to preparing me for my future duty. Astromancy, astrography, numerology, the histories of my house and the Imperium, as well as other disciplines. For many years, dozens of instructors tirelessly prepared me for my destiny. And once a year, Great Regent Alronto would come to the station. He would entrust his beautiful vessel to my command, so that I could master the practical aspects of our art as well.
So you've never lived anywhere other than Urak 5?
Hardly. According to the chronicles of the house, I was born on one of the Orselio worlds. Oh, what was it? Please forgive me, Lord Captain. My childhood memories are too vague. Sometimes I dream about the colorful birds that built their nests in the garden, or the servants dressed in purple livery, or the blue fog that rolled over the lowlands behind the palace. But everything is covered in a rosy haze. Perhaps it is my imagination, not my memory, that is painting these pictures.
Did you have friends? Someone you could turn to for conversation?
The Regent gave me a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing, but for some reason, it refused, and died soon after. The instructors were too respectful of my duty to my house to waste precious time on idle chatter. Aside from them, there were only servants on the station, and you know they have their vocal cords removed, so they cannot break their vow of silence. And since the subject has been breached, Lord Captain, Why do you not follow this honored tradition? Your decks are so garish. Apologies, I meant noisy. The rabble don't just chatter. Sometimes they shout and even sing. Why do you allow such a lack of restraint? Rogue traders are highborn, are they not?
I mean no insult, but you may find this difficult to believe, but the practice of depriving servants of their voice is not particularly widespread outside House Orselio.
Please forgive me, Lord Captain. I was sure it was a sacred tradition made sacrosanct by the ancient vows of obedience. I expect more surprises will be waiting for me outside the walls of Urak 5.
Your third eye, do you always conceal it?
The Navigator's open eye is baneful to whoever the warp's ruinous shine falls upon, and therefore it is the symbol of our power. We are the guiding stars of humanity, found worthy of an uncommon gift, and one of the duties that we bear is to guard our eye, even from wayward glances that may bear evil. Besides, I am aware that lesser servants of the Imperium may find our appearance repulsive. The Navigator gene twists the features the rabble are used to seeing, and the magnificence of our role cannot be grasped by their feeble minds.
You are beautiful, Cassia. Do not let anyone or anything convince you otherwise.
Lord Captain, you are overstepping the bounds of propriety.
New topic. What does it feel like to guide a vessel through the warp?
It may be difficult to describe. You see, every navigator perceives the warp differently. My mentor, Great Regent Elronto, always described his travels through the Immaterium as a journey through a vast wood with countless paths. And I, assisting him in the first voyages, futilely tried to follow his example. But the wood would not reveal itself to me. But everything changed when I found my own key to this mystery. You see, I've always brightened up my rare moments of leisure time by painting. You may recall there was a workshop in my chambers. As soon as I imagined the warp as a blank canvas, an indescribable feeling came over me. I moved the brush, going deeper and deeper into my own painting. Visions were hidden within the vibrant colors of my palette, and something inside me knew which should be brought out and which should be left behind. I woke up several days later, after the voyage was safely complete.
I noticed that your love of painting is reflected in your speech as well. You associate so many images with hues and colors.
The Emperor graced me with a gift. I can see inner life in addition to the mundane. You cannot know that a fruit has rotten from the inside until a blade slices it in two. I can see the rot from far away. It roils like swamp mud, oozing through the bright peel. Anger and boredom, sadness and joy. Everything that people shut away inside themselves is revealed to me like colors on the canvas of my world.
Why don't we talk about something else?
You will hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
Tell me about House Orselio.
As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them.
Who rules the house currently?
Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of a protectorate, a Novator heads a navigator house. It is the Novator who decides where to look for alliances and which path their bloodline is destined to tread. As for our house, The transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Auronto Orselio is ensuring the stability of the house.
You lived in seclusion on a closed station until Felix committed his sabotage. You must be the Novator's successor.
So says Regent Auronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in rolling grey clouds at the thought of me becoming the Novator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I am not ready for such a burden.
I take it the house has a rich history.
Oh, yes. The navigators of the house came to the Coronis Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestors expanded the borders of humankind's dominion for the glory of the Emperor, blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy.
With your permission, I'd like to talk about something else.
By all means.
Tell me, what does your sight reveal?
Sister Argenta shines like a guiding star, inspiring resolve in those around her, seemingly inexplicably. However, I see a dark and ugly fog billow behind her, contrasting sharply with her shining light. It burdens the Sister of Battle. It drags her down. Yet Argenta herself is hardly aware of it. Seneschal Viserion is among the few whose colors are a pleasure to look at. Whenever the Seneschal speaks, heavenly crystal clarity spreads around him. And whenever he is angered, dark blue clouds condense over him. And in his rare moments of joy, a pure gleam of sunset pink caresses the souls of those near him. Out of your entire retinue, Lord Captain, he is the only one I would trust with my life. Idira's emotions are like a maelstrom, bright, unbridled, enveloping her form like a wondrous kaleidoscope of colors. And as dangerous as a twisting warp storm. The riot of colors hides the truth from my eyes. What exactly is driving this woman? Is it her own will, or is it the Immaterium, Lord Captain?
Let's take a brief moment to speak about us.
Right here? Are you sure?
No, you're right. That deserves to be in private.
Of course. Let us turn from personal matters to more pressing concerns.
Goodbye.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
Alright, well, that's done. Thankfully, we don't have nearly as much to talk about. So, can continue onward succinctly instead of spending an entire hour in dialogue. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Members of a sacred cult operating aboard this ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to their new captain. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Bloodspun Web. The cult defends the flagship from both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard and looked favorably upon their activities. Well, I am prepared to receive them. I will commence preparations at once, Lord Captain. Those on the deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully into a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement, while others murmur prayers to the God Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still. Domin von Valancius, death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her. And now we give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion. We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibellah. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
You've heard many stories about death cults, such as this one. These devoted, holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into a form of worship of the Emperor. They are exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of the faith, while others see their fearsome rituals as frenzied spectacles touched by madness. Examine the cultists. The cultists are all void-born. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobat's nimble grace and strike with an assassin's swift surety. Their red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out patterns of bleeding lacerations. Examine the captives. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down the tear-stained faces of the captured officers, technomats, and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision. Traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing.
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voigtveer, but it is your name they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
Interesting. So a death cult watches over my crew. They who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him. Sacred executioners.
The Domin has discerned our essence. This is a great honor for the blood-spun web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This...
Oh, whoops. People keep messaging me. Stop doing that. Your heart is filled with awe as you gaze at the cultists. You recognize this feeling. You have experienced it before, when you walked through the scorching flame and survived. The eyes of your grim guests burn bright with sacrificial fervor. They served the God Emperor with wholehearted faith and devotion. What exactly does a cult like the Bloodspun Web do?
The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the hearts of others. When a soul is filled with the poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship. But there are others. The virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One. Distanced.
Frankly,
Bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself. Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the blood-spun web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
I will judge these traitors myself.
Then, I will tell you of the treacherous blood that runs through their veins.
She's lying. They smeared blood on themselves and crawled out of the tunnel, wailing, "Oh no, the ship's been attacked. There are enemies everywhere. Defend the bay." We rushed off to investigate, and they used their cutters to break into weapon storage at our guard station. They stole guns and headed straight for the reactor. Bone and sinew revealed your hubris. You abandoned vigilance for the promise of glory. You did not give weapons to the traitors, but you left your post to seek a hero's path. Though you did not act with treasonous intent, you are complicit nonetheless. Have mercy, Lord Captain, mercy! What should be done with the prisoners, Lord Captain? I hereby sentence the guilty officers to be shot. Take them away. Lord Captain has spoken. I could not honor you by ushering the souls of those traitors to the other side. This troubles me, for I wish to serve you as the sword serves its master. Will you make me your shield and shadow, Domin Phosphoros? Your lordship, the spinners of the blood-spun web were watching, tracking, and killing von Valancius' enemies long before the warrant of trade passed to Lady Theodora. However, their blade has also been known to cut short the lives of upstanding persons. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I am sure they must have had a good reason. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the blood-spun web, for we share a common goal, to bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of the ship. A scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, these spinners took a train driver to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malok did to earn that privilege, though. And who's going to feed his family now? Heinrich takes a drag on his low stick, exhaling thick smoke through his clenched teeth. But that's a lower-decker problem. What matters is that the blood-spun web serves you faithfully, Lord Captain. My predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about how the spinners saved this vessel from the servants of the archenemy. The blood-spun web paid the price in blood, a river of scarlet that flooded the decks from bridge to bilge. They became the blood of the flagship, the pulse in its veins and its beat of its heart. Their great sacrifice earned them the favor of House von Valancius. It seems that not all the officers have been presented to me yet. Your lordship, as a humble servant of the Emperor, I am trusted with the high honor of being the ship's confessor, or, in other words, the highest spiritual authority on your vessel. I am here to oversee the purity of the crew's faith. I officiate in the officer's chapel, and also look after the ship's reliquary. Tell me of this great sacrifice, Adalbert. The vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the Immaterium for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the archenemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became the hunted. The famished became a feast. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders. But then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tipped dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, the blood-spun web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. I wish to hear what my retinue thinks. I have heard, though only at a distance, the prayers the spinners offer up to him. I have seen how their deeds fill people's heart with confidence in the inevitability of his wrath. The Bloodspun Web's loyalty to the Emperor is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in the fight against the archenemy. Although Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue, she respected the web and approved of its mission. It is strange. The shadowy forms are swathed in darkness, yet a radiant light burns within them like scarlet flame. I think it is a good sign. It is rare to see anyone filled with such light, even among servants of the faith. Then you will be my shadow, Kibellah. Kibellah's movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate. You have, like, really big ears? What's going on there? Oh, that's blood splatter behind her head. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deathly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth, I am your shadow, Domin Phosphoros von Valancius, an instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One, for so it was ordained, and so his tarot forspoke. I also come bearing an invitation from the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web. He wishes you to know that the doors to the Undying One's temples are open to you. Are you suggesting the Lord Captain go down into the depths of his flagship to search for this temple? With all due respect, the lower decks are for servants and crew. They are not a fitting place for his lordship. Who is this Vizier? He is the first among us. The Vizier has spun the web of faith for 5-fold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood. My mentor and teacher. Why did the Vizier not deliver the message himself? The first spinner is old. His abode is in the temple beneath the flagship's freight line, and he has not left the lower deck in decades. Even a short journey could sunder the spirit from his ancient body. Where is your temple located? I am not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Ariane, the matriarch spider. Hers was the thread that would become the blood-spun web. Her path began deep within the flagship, in dark tunnels of the freight line. And that is where yours must begin as well. This journey will bring closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to understanding death. I will walk the footsteps of the matriarch spider. Your journey will begin in the deepest tunnels. In the darkness of the deepest tunnels, the Vizier awaits you. Your blade awaits direction, Daman. We will speak again when the time is right. Alright. We got a quest. Also have a new companion. Yes, I'm aware that there is a map of the void ship. Kibellah, congratulations. So the great part about the Silent Verdict is, one, it is a death cult weapon, and two, it's better than the one she starts with. So with it is my greatest honor, Kibellah, to give you back the sword you gave me. This incredibly huge sword. This ridiculously, like, think about it. This blade with like fully 8 or 9 inches embedded in the ground is still taller than she is at the edge of the handle. This is a nightmarishly large sword. Yeah, and then we have a couple level ups to give her, because alright, so she started with Medicaid already. That's good. She gets a common talent. Oh, her background, right. What is your background? Obviously, you are a blade dancer. You have in the footsteps of death already, which is good. You start as Voidborn and a Death Cult Assassin, which is a unique background. Anyways. Alright, so let's look at your Death Cult stuff. Crimson Tide. A creature with the Blood Blessed or Blood Stained effect gains +1 stack of this effect whenever raining blood is inflicted again, or whenever it starts its turn on a blood-covered cell. That's neat. So Blood Blessed is the positive version, which she puts on herself, giving her 2% extra damage for each stack. Blood Stained is the negative effect she applies to enemies, making them take 2% more damage. And then Raining Blood is a special ability she has. Oof, you know what, actually? Hold on for a moment, folks. I am tragically have to use the restroom. So we're going to get our bathroom break sign up. Click. We're going to turn that on, and we will be back in just a moment. Alrighty, I return from the bathroom break. So, let me just do something real quick. Oh, that's comments and cancel. No, fuck, no. I'm not hitting the right buttons. Repost. Reblog. Alright, here we go. So, first off, we get a talent. We're looking at our common talents. So yeah, that gives us extra stacks. Death Cult Assassins deal 2+ agility bonus, more damage to enemies if both the ally and the target are stand on the blood-covered cells. That's fine, I guess. That's not much extra damage, to be honest. Each time the Death Cult Assassin parries or dodges, all enemies with the Bloodstained effect suffer an extra stack. That's kind of neat. A creature with Bloodblessed or Bloodstained gains +1 stack of this effect whenever bleeding, burning, or toxin is inflicted on it. That's kind of neat. A creature with the Bloodblessed or Bloodstained effect gains 1 stack of the effect each time it suffers damage from bleeding, burning, or toxin. Okay, that's neat. That's something. That's something. But realistically speaking, what I'm actually interested in is down here, because I want to get Combat Master, so no one gets melee superiority against her. I will eventually also get this for Abelard. And then so the most important skills for her going forward are going to be agility, weapon skill, and I guess toughness for now. I'm inclined to make this first one toughness, purely to get it evened out to 50, just so she gets the extra HP, because that's another 10% HP she's going to gain. And then we get an oath, or we get an ability. So Acrobatic Artistry basically allows her to, for 1 AP, jump back to where she started her turn, repeating any death from aboves. Oath of Vengeance, she takes a damage equal to 5 plus half her Blade Dancer level. Okay. This is a lot of damage right now, but we're going to gain HP per level faster than this is going to gain faster than the cost is going to go up, but it allows her to select an ally that's been attacked and gain these bonuses against people who attacked it. Veil of Blades is neat if you're going to be focusing on a melee kind or on a defensive kind of build, because it will allow her to parry ranged attacks. It can even allow her to reflect those attacks back at her enemy. But I think we're going to take Blood Oath. It makes her next attack undodgeable and unparryable, and if she kills them, she heals and gains an extra AP. And it costs no AP itself, so I actually think most of her abilities don't cost AP. Captive Audience does, but I think that's just because it doesn't take wounds. Yeah, we're going to take Blood Oath. And we're going to take Medicae as her skill upgrade, because she already took a point in Medicae. And also, later on down the line, she's going to be able to get a Medicaid based on weapon skill, which is amazing. And then also I can't remember if it's in this particular archetype or in the next, but there is an ability that she will be getting eventually that will make it so that her wounds are based on her Medicaid skill instead of her toughness, which is great because you can get Medicaid way higher than you can get toughness. Because toughness only goes up by 5 per upgrade, whereas Medicaid goes up by 10. And her Medicaid is also going to be increasing as her weapon skill increases. So it's kind of like double dipping. Sorry, I'm also plotting out certain upgrades. Because we definitely want Race Against Death. That's going to give us bonus HP based on our dodge, which is amazing. I think we're going to want to get Sweeping Motions. Because that's just going to make our action point economy better. Yeah, but again, I don't know. There's quite a few things I want, and we only have 1, 2, 3. We only have 4 assassin or blade dancer talents left, so we can take 4 things. And one of them is going to be Promises of Blood, because that's the upgrade to Blood Oath, and there's no point in taking Blood Oath and not taking its upgrade. Later, though. I actually think we're gonna go do... Okay, so... I said we were gonna go to Rykad Minoris in the description of the stream. So I think we are going to do that. Are we going to do that? Are we going to do that? I don't know if we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to do that. We are going to go and do Kibellah's thing immediately, because I don't have to sit through as many loading screens to do that. So this is going to go to the freight line. Oh, I guess we do actually have a full team. Can I reorder how the people are in here if I select them differently? Nope. That's interesting. I guess I didn't realize they had like a static party order. Someone messaged me again. It was nothing important. A sturdily built man with an augmented jaw stands at attention. The dark circles under his eyes speak to many sleepless nights, but his voice is loud and spirited. Welcome to Freight Hub LD 987/A14, Lord Captain. I am Edic Frenzo, Captain of the Enforcers in the lower deck bay LD A14. The Master at Arms has assigned me to be your liaison for the duration of your stay here. Lord Captain, would you like to inspect the control room, or to begin your search for the Temple of the Bloodspun Web? He says the last part with obvious concern. Just thinking about the prospect of walking around the lower deck wounds your refined senses. Your mind conjures vivid images of filth and poverty hanging in the air, seeping out of every crack, gnawing their way through your skin. I am here to inspect the entire compartment. I am curious to see how people on the lower decks live. As you will, Lord Captain. Still, out of concern for your safety, I must warn you that you should avoid the farthest sections of the bay. They are ridden with disease, and the locals can be particularly unpleasant to deal with. With the kind of riffraff that dwells there, you might even be attacked. Such ghastly places you describe. We are not headed there, are we, Lord Captain? To put it bluntly, the bay performs its functions well, even if its more civilized sections are sorely lacking in discipline. I was only recently assigned, so I haven't had time to straighten everything up, since doing so will require making some serious changes. I am not inventing excuses, Lord Captain. As the officer in charge, I accept full responsibility for what takes place in this compartment. Rejoice, friend for the Lord Captain himself has deigned to deal with your problems. Rest assured, I will provide you some crucial guidance once I am done inspecting the bay. But Fresno stops himself mid-protest and assumes a more compliant tone. In that case, I urge you to remain vigilant. The freight trains move at great speeds, and the inhabitants of the residential units are despicable rabble. One must never drop one's guard around them. An emperor preserve you from stumbling into the pestilence pit. That's where the madmen and the lepers live. Tell me of your station. Hub LD 987/A14 connects the lower decks freight, residential, and artillery bays. Our task is to monitor the flow of labor forces and prevent supply disruptions between bays. Who maintains the hub? Traffic controllers. They're technomats trained by priests of the machine cult. This is the first time technomat's been highlighted. Trained by priests of the machine cult to keep the sacred cogitators in working order and prevent train collisions. The consequences of an accident like that would be easy to imagine, especially if one of the trains were carrying macro cannon ordnance. Also employed here are an enforcer squad, a team of Inferni, and the clerks who keep cargo records, and a Medicae officer. A fine chap whose medicine of choice is a bullet, may the God Emperor forgive him. I mean, not every void ship can boast its own railway. That is true. Usually the higher class ships are the ones that get trains. But it's far from the greatest thing a rogue trader's warrant can see done. The credit here goes to Lady Theodora's predecessor, on whose orders the Adeptus Mechanicus assisted in birthing this miracle of sacred engineering from the womb of the dynasty's flagship. What is the situation on the lower decks? Most of the locals unload trains and sort provisions. We give maintenance jobs to the more capable ones. The rest are reserve workforce. Whenever crew are lost on a deck, we find replacements from among those rats. And if extra hands are needed anywhere else, there are always more than enough volunteers eager to work for rations. They even queue for jobs. The rabble are causing few problems, I hope. Surely you are joking, Lord Captain. The rabble are base in nature, and mutiny is always on their mind. They steal whatever they can get their hands on, and lately they've moved from rations and tinned food to weapons. We confiscate these regularly, of course, and keep the serfs meek and terrified. That's the only way we can protect the mindless herd from themselves. Another thing, the bastards do on a regular basis... another thing the bastards do on a regular basis is build their shacks in front of service tunnel entrances. That has delayed the arrival of Infernus brigades during several emergencies, and caused air and power supply problems in adjacent bays. We burn those saboteurs along with their shacks, but they just keep pressing on regardless. Mutinous rabble, how paranoid. To the best of my knowledge, being paranoid is practically a requirement in our line of work. In any case, the rabble are always plotting. Take my word for it. I have learned enough. The cult of the Bloodspun Web has a presence in this compartment. That is correct. The enforcers do not bar them from carrying out their sacred duties, he scowls. As irregular as it is to have armed crew members set up a secret hideout forbidden to the enforcers, and that they can go around dispensing bloody justice. Do you take issue with the death cultists killing people on your territory? I do, Lord Captain, but the cult is authorized to exist on the ship, which means that their activities down here are not to be interfered with. What else do you know about them? Not much, but I'm always trying to learn more, given that they like to pay visits to my compartment. The Spinners honor the Emperor through death. They kill notorious reprobates and heretics. Sometimes they kill righteous folk, and other times, even seemingly at random, their rituals are morbid and their prayers are strange. Anyone not initiated in their rites would struggle to make any sense of them. Be steadfast in your duties, Captain. Goodbye.
Onward to victory.
I have a debuff? Disgusting. Oh no! Oh god, being a noble means I don't want to be down here. Oh, that's... Oh, I really don't like being down here. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow, I did not expect that to come back to bite me so unbelievably hard. Alright. I mean, I guess it was gonna happen. Got a box. Oh yeah, also, we have to fiddle with our formation again, because we've got... Actually, let's... Honestly, I want Cassia up there more than anybody else.
Venture forth.
Is that blood? It can't be. We scrubbed the deck 3 times right before the rogue trader came. Boy, take me. The captain will have our heads. Is this the welcome you give the rogue trader? Abelard's nostrils flare in anger. Whoever had the audacity to leave behind this appalling symbol, I will see to it that the Master-at-Arms calls them to account herself. Damn those... How did they even... awareness test? You haven't seen this sort of symbol before. Death cultists carve bleeding marks like this into their own skin. Kibellah carves the same symbol on the back of her hand with a knife and whispers a prayer. Tommen, remember this sign. It is the beginning of your quest, the first blood trail. Do you know what this mark is? It resembles one of the symbols associated with the web. What was it called? The Song of Trailing Blood, I think? It's a prayer familiar to many in this compartment. We've heard spinners say it when they, well, perform their signature act of service to the Emperor. The soundless shadow sank into the dark, slashed feet crescendo, a fatal dance, blade song in tempos, each edge an echo, twin odes to death throes, now on her sacred blood as she once trod the backs of foes, tread countless souls, but none who know. You memorized the verse? When I took up my post here, I made sure to familiarize myself with all the particular qualities of this compartment. I soon heard about the verse and decided to investigate. I questioned a number of people who followed the blood-spun web as I was trying to figure out if there was anything pernicious about it. And eventually I learned the whole thing. The words are certainly strange, but it's nothing worse than it seems. What is this Song of Trailing Blood? From what I can tell, it's something like a prayer with several verses that tell the life of one of the cult's saint, Ariane, or the matriarch spider as they call her. In other words, it is an invitation. It is only too obvious that cultists obsessed with mysticism would never use prose to mark the way to the temple. They are too fond of their obscure chants and cryptic verses. So I am invited to follow a trail of blood, it seems. I accept the spinner's invitation. I hope that you find what you're looking for and return to the upper deck safely. This is the last of the hub's vials for this work cycle. There, 57 ration cards. That's all I've got. Spent the rest on Rotgut again, I'm guessing. I'm not doing you any favors. Give up the drink or get used to life in the pit. I hope you get hit by a train.
Let's seize the moment.
I'll be taking these goods, thank you. We have some trains happening. Gross.
Marching ahead.
Mercy, please save me. The young man gasps for air through burnt lips, slipping in and out of delirium. His skin is dripping from his gaunt body like melted wax from a candle. His eyes, somehow intact, alive, clear, and filled with pain, stare at you from under his caked eyelids. What happened? I am Vale, the cleaner. I was in my house, asleep. Enforcers came, set fire to it. I didn't make it out in time. Wonder how long he's been sitting here like this. A watch? 3? The whispers say nobody cared because he didn't matter, but they also say he's somehow supposed to matter to us. Strange. Get some enforcers and, do you know anything about the mark next to you? A spinner came. He painted the symbol. Then he gave me water and whispered a strange verse. He told me to memorize it and to recite it later so that help would come. To soot-smirched soul, her mercy she did grant. Last breath expressed, knife met heart. Removed from chest, passed on to death. Her duty blessed, a balm for those who suffer, anguish and distress. A longing brought to rest. Of mortal bonds the soul divest. More verses. The crux of this test is clear. In order to follow in the saint's footsteps, you are supposed to kill the young man and thus release him from his suffering. The cultists want to see if you understand the philosophy of those who seek. Assess his chances of survival. He might survive, but he will be maimed for life. Too much of his muscle has been charred down to bone. Even if he does retain some ability to move, pain will be his constant companion. His motor skills have been damaged beyond repair. A broken man or a corpse, time will soon tell. I grant you the Emperor's mercy. No, mercy! Horror flashes the man's eyes, but once he sees your calm expression, he lets go of the fear and bows his head in resignation. So be it. I can't take the pain anymore. There is no curse more terrible than an existence between unlife and undeath. You have liberated a tormented soul, Dahlman. The Undying One sees the good you have wrought. I hope somebody does, because I certainly fucking don't. This man did not need to die. We get charred pavement. Some ration cards. On the tracks, final gift, give it to him. So. I wonder if I read this properly. Well, hop back down.
Experience. Nothing matters more.
Let's see this through.
Let's go down here first. So we got some doors and stuff, behind which might be some fucking dank loot.
I do what I must.
Hold on, is Kibellah my best tech use person again? Right now? Because... Oh, because I'm upsetty spaghetti about... Because I'm upsetty spaghetti about how gross it is down here. She's actually slightly better at tech stuff than anyone else in the party. That's funny. Hold on, wasn't there like a... Back this way. Right? I saw, Oh yeah, okay, so I guess I have to figure out how to... Oh, that's down in the next bay. Okay. Are any of these people I can speak with? Beggar. Your lordship, spare a throne for those who can't even get the worst job. Yeah, sure. Let your bellies be full tonight. I mean, I've got the ration cards. I might as well. Who else is marked as someone I can speak to? Can I talk to you? Can I talk to you?
Stay sharp.
Alright, so I can talk to the enforcers, but they don't actually want to talk back. Which is lame of them. Can't talk to that beggar. Or the hawker. Ooh, you're speakable. No. Not speakable enough. Ah, a flute player. A group of gawkers are crowding around a makeshift stage, watching a strange duo perform. A man with odd-looking goggles pushed up on his forehead, hands wrapped in worn leather gloves, plays a tune on a handmade flute. Next to him sits a stack of crates supporting a kind of game board. A scruffy rat is rolling small glass balls around the board. Several workers empty their pockets and start throwing ration cards, bolt nuts, and even a few power panels into the small chest to the board, next to the board. The flute player winks at the crowd and switches to a different tune. The rat squeaks excitedly and starts rolling the colorful balls the players have chosen around the maze of tunnels on the board, but not a single one reaches the goal, a hole marked with a red circle. The rat just rolls all the balls off the board or into dead ends. Once the group of players gets their hope dash and leave empty-handed, new workers immediately take their place. Watch the rat. The rat scurries around the board, spurred on by the flute. Its movements appear erratic at first glance, but after a while you notice how consistently the balls seem to miss the goal at the very last moment. While the rat's clumsy, amusing scampering directs the spectator, its nimble tail directs the balls away from the hole. Listen to the tune. The rat's movements, from the flick of its tail to when and where it pushes the balls, obey its master's wordless commands with uncanny precision. The notes, the pauses, the rhythm, every part of the melody serves as a signal to the flute player's tiny assistant. Solve the mystery. Your mind eliminates all irrelevant factors, the ruffling of cards, the clamor of bolt nuts, the excited gestures of naive folk believing in luck where calculation reigns. There is only the game and its structural components, a skillfully crafted melody, and a trained pet that is smarter than it looks. Where others hear music, you discern a series of coded directives being issued to the flute player's tiny accomplice. The rat distracts the spectators with a show of clumsiness, while precisely following its master's commands. This is how the balls just happen to roll past the goal. Why are you distracting the other workers? The crowd, which has been absorbed in the performance, too absorbed to notice your presence, turns to you, expressions of frightful awe appearing on their faces. Oh, I haven't had work for who knows how many watches now, and even if they did give me work, the enforcers would just rob me of my earnings afterwards. So I found a calling after my own heart. I'd trade fortune for ration cards. The folks around here peddle away what little they have to spare anyway, so why can't I? Perhaps you'd like to trade some of that captain's fortune of yours, your lordship. This is a curious-looking flute. How did you come by it? My mother loved music. She used to hum beautiful melodies to me, and when she passed away, I carved this flute from her hip bone and learned to play, out of sorrow and respect for her memory. Are you suggesting we play a game? Please, bless our little lark with your attention. Alright, explain the rules. It's simple. On this board, you play with fate. Choose a ball and give it to Bolts, my rat. If she rolls your ball into the pocket marked in red, within 3 minutes you win. If she doesn't, you lose. Simple. This should be amusing. We will cheat. The man readies his flute, and the rat dives under the board. You hear clawed feet scrabbling against the crate, and a few moments later, a green ball pops out of the center. You have already seen the flute player's performance. You listen to him play and watch the rat closely. Then, at a certain point, you start tapping your fingers on the edge of the crate, adding your own rhythm to the tune. The rat scrambles in confusion, mistaking your commands for those of its master, and starts rolling the ball towards the goal. When the ball drops in the red hole, a few impressed whistles come from the crowd, and the flute player laughs heartily. Cleverly done, your lordship. Well, I had no doubt that you would be a worthy opponent, and your strategy. I think I will keep it in mind for my future games. Cut a button from your sleeve and throw it to the man, for the entertainment. Thank you for this generous gift. These folks will shower me in ration cards to get their hands on something that belonged to your lordship. Fortune gave me the brightest of smiles today. Goodbye, person. Alright, we've got another thingy. Doesn't even know what house we're in. That's funny. Alright, so... I mean, it wants me to go that way, but I want to go this way first.
Do you see that?
Do I see what? What am I seeing? Okay, cool. How many times do I need to tell you, ungrateful maggots? Mistakes must be paid for. Have mercy, in the throne's name, I beg you. Your gracious lordship, hand of the god emperor, save your unworthy servant. Get lost. The enforcer's heavy baton pummels the man's back and shoulders several times. His bones crack audibly. The sound of breaking bones, the man's cries. And the Enforcer's hateful laughter reminds you of what you went through yourself, too vividly and too painfully. Echo of torment effect, duration permanent. Bro, okay, wow. I did not realize just how much this would suck with how my build was, with how, like, my background is. My sincerest apologies, Lord Captain. Your boot. I'll clean it right away. A murmur of discontent, breaks out among the gawkers who've gathered around. None of the workers dare come closer, but the anger on their face, is plain to see. I intend to hear this man out. Your lordship, I work hard, never even take breaks to rest, and all I earn is 7 ration cards with 15 mouths to feed back home. The enforcers shake me down every shift, just like they do every other honest hard worker who... Enough whining. You and your pals lifted a box of Nutribars a few watches ago, and 2 canisters of water before that. I didn't beat the life out of you because I took pity on you, and this is the thanks I get? You quarantined the hub for 20 watches and refused to give out rations if we didn't have the cards. Cards we had no way to earn. And today you earn 15 cards in a single shift because you do the work of 3 people, right? Or did you take your pals to a dark corner somewhere, do them in, and take their share? I didn't do them in. It was an accident. The worker stops himself, cowers, and whimpers. They got their heads bashed in by crates. The dead don't need rations. Am I to understand the enforcers are appropriating earnings from workers after their shifts? We appropriate nothing. We just monitor and redistribute. The rabble are a lying, thieving lot. We have instructions to stay alert for people holding more than the standard amount of cards, to prevent supply embezzlement. They do take our cards, your lordship, and then they grow fat using them for themselves. Consider yourself discharged, thief. Tomorrow you are to stand here and queue for a work assignment like the others. The enforcer freezes in place, not daring to raise his hands to his red-hot face, and squeezes out a lifeless, "Yes, Lord Captain." The onlooking workers bellow triumphantly and point at the enforcer, praising the Lord Captain. A sullen, red-bearded man with keen black eyes draws your attention. His odd, piercing gaze seems to size you up the whole time you were speaking, but now he has hastened to conceal himself behind the gawkers. The next thing you know, you are watching him hurry deeper into the tunnels. May the God Emperor protect you and all of House von Valancius, Lord Captain. Oh, hey, that was enough for a level up. Alright, here we go. We got an ability. We get, we're gonna start with, we're gonna start with Break Their Ranks. And we get a common talent here. So we're gonna get a U talent. If the servant kills the target that the noble dealt damage to, the noble gains +1 AP. If the noble uses an ability on their servant, the servant gains an additional action point next turn. Does not stack with itself. I actually think what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we're going to get characteristic training fellowship to get that up to 70. Oh, you know what? Resolve might be fellowship and willpower, because that is conveniently 7 and 4 together is 11. So that might be how that works. You get a characteristic ability or training. Abelard, you're going to get a weapon skill. No, yes, weapon skill. And you also get a thingy. You're gonna get a combat master. Kibellah, you get a characteristic as well. I'm not interested in any more toughness. So yeah, you're gonna get agility here, and then this is a full talent. So this is going to be Promises of Blood. Upgrade to Blood Oath. You get an ability upgrade. We have not actually taken any of your abilities. I can't remember. I think I want to get you to Mind Rupture. Yeah, I kind of... Precognition. So, I mean, prophetic intervention is pretty neat. But Mind Rupture is also pretty neat. As is Psychic Assault. So what I think we're going to do is I think we're going to go Sensory Deprivation to allow her to blind people, which gives them minus 30 to attacks and dodge and parry. Or minus 30 plus 5 times, plus minus negative 5 times psi rating, which is going to get crazy. And then we get a skill here. Awareness is her current pick. Cassia is going to get another ability. She has not yet taken a new ability, so I think what we're gonna do, because I want to go down her. I want to go down her buff tree for now. Because I really want to get Vigil Beyond Time, because I do not know. I think this might be able to bring a character back from being unconscious. So we are going to get a Glimpse of Fate. Yeah, we're going to get Glimpse of Fate. No, Reveal the Light, because that extra 20 toughness... Willpower is not super useful for everybody, but that extra 20 toughness is going to be insanity. For our melee folks. Or, well, actually, I mean, mostly for Abelard, because eventually her wounds are going to be based off of something else entirely. But that's fine. What is this? 6 temporary wounds based on willpower. Yeah, so Inspire Courage is a good pick. And we get a common talent. We're gonna get... I mean, I want to get all of these. We don't necessarily need a natural allure, because she's not actually going to be doing fellowship-based things much. Strange Vitality. Yeah, we'll get Strange Vitality. We'll get Strange Vitality, because that's going to give her that extra little bit of, additional, survivability. And then Argenta, you're going to get your second ballistic skill upgrade. And you're going to get a common talent. You're going to get Flensing Faith, because this is going to make your Melta weapons do extra damage and armor pen against demons, psychers, and aliens, which is good. We're also eventually going to take Litany of Purification and Shield of Faith. Excellent. Alright. Now then. Levers. Oh, shit, hold up.
Forge ahead. Never linger.
I did not notice. I've never noticed that before. That's crazy.
Let's seize the moment.
Oh, a power pick. That's interesting. This weapon has an extra attack action, which increases the armor penetration of all subsequent attacks made against the same target by +10 for 1 round. It stacks. Okay. I mean, it's already got good armor pen. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anyone who would benefit from a power... I mean, actually, I suppose I'm just using a regular sword, and this is a damage upgrade for me. I'll take a power pick. Kibellah, have a second sword for your offhand. Or actually for your main hand. Alright. That's neat. Now we're gonna go back up here, actually, because... See, this is interesting, because... something big happened over here, but I wasn't even supposed to go this way yet. Some more ration cards, that's neat. Because the thing actually pointed this direction, to this guy. A sinewy, middle-aged man watches the bustle of the bay with a detached expression. Every so often, his eyes linger on the blood mark inscribed nearby. His face changes strangely, and his hands clench into fists. Just as you begin to hear the rumble of an approaching train, his gaze turns towards the track. He leans forward. Abelard, do something. In the name of the dynasty, I command you to step away from the edge and explain what the misdeed you are about to commit. What? I didn't. The man starts and almost falls, but manages to keep his balance. In the dim lumen light, you notice old scars scattered all across his body. The scars seem vaguely familiar. Test failed. Test failed! Oh well. The scars all vary in length, width, depth, and shape. However, you notice a pattern in the way the scars are aligned, as well as a series of faded symbols on the man's rough skin. Death cultists bear similar marks on their bodies. What do you know of the symbol? It's a symbol of the blood-spun web. I come here every watch, but it hasn't been here before now. I guess today must be a special day. You come to take me to the other side. I do not know you. Death's gaze is not upon you. But then, why is it here? Who are you? A dead man. I lost my name years ago. I've been just another dead man ever since. You dare insult the rogue trader with your impudence? Your body may already be covered in scars, but your tongue seems to be asking for more. You know the symbol of the blood-spun web. You bear similar scars. Are you a spinner? I was, but I failed to complete my final assignment, so I was exiled from the cult. The Vizier told me to kill the one who would be at a certain junction of the utility tunnels at a certain hour. I went to the appointed spot, and then I waited. An hour, 2, 5. The junction was still empty. Nobody came. After hours of waiting, I finally realized the person at the junction had been me the whole time. It was my turn to go to the Undying One, but I was afraid, and I couldn't do my duty. I ran. So the spinners simply let you go? They made no attempts to find you? There was no pursuit. I thought I'd see their black blades the very next day. Instead, years passed without them taking my heart. I tried starting a new life, but the terror never stopped eating away at me. When I got truly desperate, I went to the Temple of Death myself, but no one there would speak to me. When I gave them my name, they just whispered, "Sabreed has gone to the Undying One." They looked through me like I wasn't even there. I've lived like this for 20 years, like a coward, like a dead man. You were ordered to die? For what reason? But some would choose to leave the righteous path. These earned penance in due time. Her whip sings vengeance on renegade menace. Her blades pass sentence. For cowards seek to hide their hearts, but death makes no pretendance. It takes what is due in essence. He stops, then adds hoarsely, the third verse of the Song of Trailing Blood. The Vizier recited it to me before sending me on my final assignment. I didn't realize at the time that it was my judgment. Another verse, another step along the trail. The riddle is trivial. It is time for death to take what it is due, and the Vizier is waiting expectantly for you to carry out the sentence he passed years ago. There were plenty of reasons. I sowed death. I offered him the souls of the most pleasing men and women I could find because it kindled my passions. I killed well-off crewmen who didn't deserve their wealth, and I took their thrones. I killed enforcers who looked into my eyes without fear, because I wanted to be feared. I reveled in bloodshed. I betrayed the tenets. I realized it, but I couldn't help it. Oh, I think I'm gonna cry. You couldn't stop slicing people up? Blah. You are a coward and a butcher of the innocent. I will purge my ship of your existence. The man does nothing to stop you. He even leans closer to the rails, accepting his fate with a smile on his face. The undying one is death. Okay. Truly, it is better to die for him than to live for yourself. This he forgot. Hell yeah. It's gross and I don't like being down here. Abelard moved this shit. He failed. He failed. Oh, now he's slightly fatigued.
Marching ahead.
I will remember that failure, Abelard.
The Vizier, would he be proud? Am I?
Several people are eagerly rummaging through a rack filled with weapons from the Enforcer's arsenal. A big man with a pock-marked face is the first to react to your presence. He attracts the others' attention with a piercing whistle and barks out, "Who are you? There's not supposed to be anyone." It doesn't matter. Identify yourself. Awareness. Take a closer look. Makeshift armor peeks out from beneath their ragged clothes, and their battered weapons display a patchwork of crude repairs. The group stares longingly at the rack with the good plasteel gleams, restlessly clutching their humble weapons. You notice that the little finger on every person's right hand has been cut off. It's hardly a coincidence. Abelard. Play my shit. Before you stands Lord Captain Phosphoros von Valancius, master of this vessel and everything on it, including those goods you are pawing at with your unwashed hands, and your miserable lives as well. What are you gawping? The people turn to stare at you in disbelief and exchange heated whispers. The excitement is interrupted by the leader's roar. What are you gawping at? Hurry up and bend your backs as is right and proper. Your lordship, you must excuse these blockheads. I was taken aback myself. It is not every day you see the rogue trader in the flesh, and as for this, the man casts a grim glance at the racks. I won't insult you by denying it. You've caught us red-handed. Who are you? The Hard Nines, a gang. A brotherhood from Transport Bay 9. Don't think we're parasites. We do our bit for the prosperity of the ship. We are sort of, assistants to the Enforcers. Self-appointed. We make sure that order is maintained in compartments where the Enforcers are too lazy or too greedy for bribes. We put a stop to robbery and free thinking, and well, we accept a small contribution as just a show of thanks. Why do you want my weapons? To do business. We're no rebels. If anyone blasphemes against your lordship, we'll call the troublemakers to order, and we shed blood for the flagship without fear. I suppose that makes us defenders of the ship? Why stop there? Might as well call yourselves saints and say the fate of the whole dynasty rests on your shoulders. You obviously didn't expect anyone to be here. Are the enforcers providing cover for you? I wish. Frenzo, the newly appointed captain, had our informant strung up. He's tightening the screws, damn it, we can barely breathe. Today is the last time we'll come to pick over this compartment. You all have your little fingers cut off. Why? It's our gang's initiation rite, a fine tradition. By voluntarily removing a finger, the newcomer shows their determination and willingness to join us forever. It's also a badge of honor. Tell me why I shouldn't execute you on the spot. You could execute us, but who would take our place? Shameless scum who rob and kill their heart's content. Bastards who accept mutants into their gangs and prey to the arch-enemy. There have always been outlaws on this ship. You're better off with outlaws like us, who don't go too far and who keep the heretics down. Don't like heretics, and I don't like the arch-enemy, but I also don't like thieves. And you do look like XP. And I do like XP, and there's only 5 of you. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Criminals on my ship have a single fate. Death. What in the world have I been standing here making speeches for? I thought we had ourselves an all-right Lord Captain, but no, he's the straight-laced type. Bring it on, then, your lordliness.
Another battle demands our attention.
Okay, there's more than 5, I guess, but... Cassia. There. Abelard. There. Kibellah. There. Argenta. There. Idira. There. I'll go here. Start battle. Cassia! Would you kindly... Okay, first off, actually. Reveal the light on...
I'm not
Kibellah
accustomed
first.
to being ordered around.
And then Kibellah, you also get voice of command from her, because I need someone to have it. And then Argenta, or Cassia, would you kindly walk up here and show these poor idiots the error of their ways? Why did that do 0 damage? Scrap plating. Why did that do... What is scrap plating? I see. Well, half of them are stunned regardless. Kibellah, would you, pretty please... Oh, okay, so they each only have 2 stacks, whereas he has 4. Kibellah, would you kindly come up here, do a little jumpy.
I am your blade and shield.
And then...
to it. Time to slaughter someone.
No! These ruby
Hold
flashes
on.
are choking me!
Oh my god. Fucking. Um.
I'll do it.
Furious recital.
Let's make it quick.
Idira. So we're gonna put dodge on Kibellah. We're going to put sensory deprivation on the leader.
Will do.
Who succeeded his test, so he's only blind. We're going to then cast a lightning bolt on we're gonna move up, I guess, and cast lightning bolt on the thief gunner. And then it's my turn.
They won't expect this. I know what to do.
Come. The other side awaits. There is only death, yours or mine. As the tenets demand. Trust me. Let the blood of the wicked be shed as thou hast willed. Killing brings me no pleasure. I will not die in dishonor. Let your soul be purged.
Indeed. I will do my duty.
That is foolishness. I'm afraid not.
Victory is imminent.
No.
Sometimes, you consult the appropriate treatise on Tactica Imperialis and weigh every step. Sometimes, though, you just fire your biggest cannon and save the day. Let's patch you up.
You cannot trick death. It will claim me one day.
Alright, I will keep 2 scrap chainmails.
That's not the Seneschal's job.
Oh, you can no longer have that equipped because you are fatigued. Interesting. Okay, well. Well, now that we've stopped them from looting this, let's loot this. The Ripper. That is not a particularly exciting gun.
Stay sharp.
Good soup. Good soup. Horrifying to look at, but good soup.
Keep your senses.
Ration cards if you're gonna be a huge fucking dick about it. Book of War Prayers. The wearer deals plus 10% more damage to Xenos and demons. If the wearer has Conviction Dogmatic, this bonus is doubled. Argenta, congratulations. Here's a prayer book. Honestly, kind of surprised you didn't already have one. But that is 20% bonus damage to demons. And we take that shit all the way to the fucking bank.
Let's see this through.
Let us see what I found. An old man in pitiful rags listens intently to the sound of your footsteps. A stinking piece of cloth is wrapped around his eyes, with greenish pus oozing out from under it. The old man lays his trembling hands protectively on the heap of junk that serves as his bed as well as his table. An empty beggar's mug makes a clinking sound next to his withered leg. What happened to your eyes? The void rats gnawed them out while I was asleep, and the sewer water my wounds were washed with was infected, turns out. The pain became a stinging feeling that wouldn't go away, only got worse. How does a blind old man survive in a place like this? People help me. Good people. Not so. Good ones too. He sweeps his withered arm vacantly around the slums. Here, have something fresh to eat. The old man ravenously sinks his main teeth into the meat's tough fibers, but soon gives up on chewing and swallows the piece whole. Could this be a true miracle of the Emperor, or is it just another dream? Leave the old man be. Stinky and gross. Gross and stinky. Foreman. The day the Lord Captain wandered into our slum will be remembered in legends. The broad-shouldered man raises a hand in greeting. His old prosthetic creaks plaintively. The locals and the enforcers call me the Foreman. I have no other name. You might say I'm in charge here, in this hole of a place. You recognize the shaggy red beard and the keen black eyes. This is the man who was watching you during your encounter with the enforcer and the station worker. I saw you at the marketplace. What are you doing here? Watching one of my workers take a beating. I feel sorry for the lad, but there was nothing I could do. I've stuck my neck out in the past, not doing it again. Tell me what life is like for workers here. Well, they toil day in and out for the glory of the ship. The rest of the time, they do their best to survive, faced with hunger, the more deranged of the enforcers,
Void leprosy, fires, floods, noxious fumes. In a word, it's a decent enough life. If you work, you survive. If you freeload, you also survive. If you're clever. Well, and if the God Emperor wills it. What are you cooking in that vat? Believe it or not, this soup, made from mold slime and technical drain water, has been simmering here in the vat for at least 200 years non-stop. See the growth on the walls over there? We harvest it, dry it, and use it to season the soup. If we're lucky, the smell attracts a void rat, and someone gets to have meat in their bowl. It's for those who can't even earn a ration card. I feed them in exchange for services or favors. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. My people keep an eye out for workers trying to eat 2 bowls in one sitting. One is enough to fill your stomach for an entire watch. Some complain about the taste, of course. Ingrates. Hand these out to the people. You'll know who needs them most. Lord Captain, you just helped some good families survive. I'll divide the cards among them and be sure to tell them that it was your lordship who did them this good turn. Give me some of the soup. I don't think that's a good idea. Mold slime is something of an acquired taste. It takes 2 years, maybe 3 for your stomach to get used to it. Lord Captain, you must be joking, surely. As if. He's serious as a void kraken. Pour me a bowl. I know what I'm doing. I, Lord Captain, shall eat this disgusting slime. Even though it probably sucks. People keep messaging me in the middle of shit. As you wish. I'm gonna be sick. A bubble rises up out of the soup and bursts with a malodorous squelch. You can feel your noble insides protest against the crime you are intent on committing. It is still not too late to come to your senses. Many fine delicacies have a foul smell and unsightly appearance. Onward to culinary discoveries. I think that said success. Or I might just be about to die. Failed. Failed. Shit. Until now, you would have struggled to imagine the taste of rotten Grox meat seasoned with bad eggs, sour wine, dirt, and engine oil. Now you understand it perfectly. You regurgitate your stomach's contents back into the bowl, cursing your decision in agony. All characteristics are reduced by 10. Whenever the character suffers any damage, they must pass a toughness test or fall prone. Any healing received removes this effect. You partook of the typical food. An outcome most unanticipated, was it not? Appelard dumps your back carringly as you fight off another wave of nausea. What are you lot looking at? Off you go before I close the vat up for a week. The grin on the worn-out faces turn to sour grimaces as a crowd disperses. Ow. That wasn't worth it. I've got so many debuffs happening on me. I am too rich for this. Abelard,
Look
my
no
tummy
further.
hurt. Heal me.
Let me help.
I am beholden to you.
My tummy hurt, Abby. I need
Venture
you to
forth.
make me feel better. That made my tummy. That made my tum-tum hurt.
This ocular implant was a worthwhile investment.
Never doubt me.
Give our gift to the one who sees nothing but hears everything, then the truth will be revealed to you. Did meet a blind old man.
Marching ahead.
Oh. Stop being so bloody difficult. What's that thing the death cultists say? Your time has come, or what have you. Oh, please, what did I do? Talk about being everywhere at once. How about we take this stuff to the marketplace? We get to eat soup tonight. Alright. Deal with you one moment. Repair the control panel.
Just as I was taught.
Go up. Oh. That's neat. Fascinating.
Over there. We should deal with this.
I better myself through my service. The Emperor favors me today.
I do what I must.
Kibellah, we've got bits for you. If worn by a Death Cult assassin, when the wearer gains a stack of Bloodlust, they also gain plus 10 toughness for 2 rounds. That's useful, at least while you're still using toughness. And if worn by a Death Cult assassin, whenever the wearer kills an enemy, that enemy explodes in a fountain of blood. The cells nearby are covered in blood as if affected by a blood file. Get Explodey, also Crimson Intoxicants, which are very helpful for our melee people who get lots of temporary wounds. For what crime did you kill this man? For the crime of wealth. That dead bastard had rations and fuel cells. We'll trade them for porridge. What are you? Mutants? Mold eaters, outcasts, bugs who have no place even among the lowest of the...
Your execution is assured.
The Masters demand your death! Crush the feeble! Such is the will of chaos.
I shall not fail.
At your beck and call. Indeed. My place is at the fore. I will do my duty. It will be done.
On it. God Emperor, move through me! Be the fire in my heart! I refuse.
Do not dare ask.
The shadows will see it done. The undying Emperor whispers his will.
Doubt is for the weak.
Oh, it's perception bonus divided. Okay. That makes more sense.
I have read tomes of military tactics.
As honor orders. Trust me. Come. The other side awaits.
Collision damage. I mean, I don't have anybody who can do pushes. Although, I guess Abelard is going to get kick later. So maybe Abelard? But I feel like there are better gloves for him.
The Vizier. Would he be proud? Am I?
Are you here to take Zdenna to the other side? No. No. You're just wandering around the dark, looking for the light. There's nowhere to be found. Do you not see it? Who are you? Old Zdenna. Zdenna the outcast. Zdenna the mad. Zdenna the disaster. Zdenna the curse. Zdenna the spurned. A ghost of the past, a shadow of the present. Only the Undying One knows. Why are you wearing a chains and a mask? You haven't escaped from the enforcers, have you? Ah, gifts, they are. The chains clink to announce Zdenna's approach for others to hear. They hide, fearful of becoming like Zdenna, afraid of losing face. There's a blood symbol next to you. I have seen such marks before. Is this another part of the Song of Trailing Blood? Oh yes, yes, the song, listen. She wandered, an eternity in dark, yet was consoled, web foretold, undying one's blood secrets glowed. A light to guide her faithful fold. But threads must end, and so the spider did that which was owed, her life and death to ship bestowed. The final test. This time they want you to make a sacrifice. If one were to interpret this entire mythical search as a repetition of the saint's journey, then the logical conclusion is that you are supposed to sacrifice yourself, to merge with the blood that has drenched the flagship from bow to stern. And you'll see if you learn to see. Look into the darkness. What am I meant to see? You peer into the darkness and are gradually able to make out the outlines of objects hidden in the shadows. Rotting corpses, rough walls, the twitching death throes of infected people left here to rot. You see no light in this place, only more darkness and despair. You don't see, do you? You don't see. Zdenna shakes her head frantically and starts tearing off her rags. Strips of her decaying flesh peel off along with them. You will not see until you become like Zdenna, the flesh and blood of this ship. How do I become the flagship's blood? Oh, Zdenna will show you, and you'll see the true light. Come now. The rotating blades promise nothing but a senseless and brutal death. Slipping past them will require some unreasonably precise calculations, or blind luck. While listening to their currents for a moment, you think you hear Zdenna's whispers prayers rising from the depths of the shaft. requires dogmatic. Pray to the Emperor. I put my life in thy hands, for I believe truly that thou wilt protect. The Emperor protects. It's gonna suck if I fuck up this jump. I'm using Abelard's jump skill for this, but... we... crunch. Did I pass the jump? I guess I did. Doesn't say I failed. I did get a suspicious rash, but
Onward to
I
victory.
don't think there was a way to avoid that, if I'm being honest. Got some bits and bobs. Athletics. I'm fatigued. Athletics. Tired. Some more loot.
Let's see this through.
There are so many death cultists. The Undying One is death. The Undying One is duty. Yes, so it shall be. So it is. So it shall be. Got some loot up here. I'm really not supposed to be by myself. I don't feel particularly safe without Abelard nearby. If I'm honest, he usually protects me with his body. He's quite good at it. Cultist. The Undying One is duty. The Undying One is all that good stuff. Some more loot. Right, go to the go down button.
Stay sharp.
I found some loot. Because my eyeballs are so good. The best eyeballs in the world. I will do the Medicaid test after I've got my party back. A frail old man, gray beard tinged with blood, folds his wrinkled hands in a ritual gesture. His body is covered in scars, some old, some fresh. His eyes are sewn tightly shut. His mouth is cleft at both corners, making his jaw seem eerily snake-like. And the Lord of the Ark walked the paths of unlife in the footsteps of the web's very first spinner, and the servants of death bowed before him, for the Daemon is the giver of life. The old man goes still, his head turned to the side. He nods towards the temple's muffled silence. Yes, yes. Truth, like a stream, pours from your lips. We welcome him as the tenets demand. Your hues are almost as pale as the gray of your beard. But what is this? Cassia flinches and takes a shuddering breath. A scarlet whirlwind shines through the faded colors. A servant of death who sees beyond the threshold. A spider who spins a cocoon at the end of his thread. Idira shakes her head and clutches her temples. Sorry about that, it just came over me. I didn't say anything too weird, did I? A thin blade appears in the old man's trembling hands. Although his arms are stiff and look like they could barely bend, in the next instance, the dynasty symbol is etched on his forehead, dripping blood. With a brief motion, he flicks the blood off his blade, and several drops land on your face. The blood-spun web welcomes its new lord. I am the Vizier. For many years we have waited, and now you are here. What do you mean by you have waited many years? It was not so long ago that I made my acquaintance with the cult. As I delve into my divinations from the flesh and blood of the departed ones, I turn to a relic most ancient and priceless. It is his tarot, inherited by the cult from the matriarch spider who spun the first thread. One of the readings I did back when I still had the strength to leave the temple and usher souls on their final journey. That was when, in the intricate tangle of destiny, I glimpsed our meeting. But when we would meet, alas, was not revealed to me, so we waited. Year after year, and now the time has come. But how exactly did you manage to erect an entire temple in the middle of the ship without anyone noticing, including blood fountains? Followers of the cult once inhabited the tunnels between the bay's bulkheads until the threads of fate were tangled and a daemon of ages past gave us this compartment. We set ourselves building spacious halls where the shadows, the images of him and the spinners themselves, would whisper of death. And thus the temple that you see began to change with the succession of viziers and the cult's generations. We are building it still, slowly but surely. I have walked the path of the matriarch spider. What now? The Song of Trailing Blood tells of a path fraught with trials. By accepting it and setting out on that path, you have passed the first one, the trial of resolve. For not everyone is prepared to shun their fear and doubt and embark on a search of the unknown, a search for death. The trial of compassion was the second. You passed it when you put yourself, albeit briefly, in the service of another soul, a man suffering from burns. For the choice between life and death is to be made only by those willing to take responsibility for the pain of another. The third was the trial of justice. In assuming the role of judge for an apostate of our faith, you declared your right to influence the balance of life and death that the errant soul had upset. And the fourth was the trial of duty, for duty always leads to death. We are prepared to render our duty to the Undying One, fearless and accepting of our purpose, which is to serve him. You, too, have proven yourself prepared, and the 4 trials have brought you here. The path I have walked helped me to understand myself better. For the tenets teach us that the lesson learned is in itself the supreme reward for one who is open to self-discovery. Peace, brother. The time has almost come. Who is it you speak to? I see echoes of those who came before us and those who were with us, but have since crossed over to the other side. My brothers and sisters raised by the cult. I hear them from beyond their deaths. They share their wisdom. I heed them. The other spinners, they hear not, for that burden is mine to bear. I see that your eyes are sewn shut. Are you blind, or is that another of the cult's rituals? I was sighted for much of my life, until a disciple of mine violated the tenets, and I realized just how blind I had been. A lesson, but a bitter one. To look with one's eyes alone is to be easily fooled. But the heart cannot be lied to. Such is the truth, and such was my choice. I sealed my eyelids with a geese of true sight. Now I see more and better. This conversation is another test, then. The tenets commanded us to be prepared for all trials, corporeal and spiritual alike. Are you prepared, Daemon? His mouth closes, but you can still hear his whisper. A prickling sensation on your face is making you increasingly anxious. You raise a hand to your cheek, only to realize you can't feel it. You look at your palm and see a few smudged drops of blood from the vizier's blade. A strange, serene calm envelops your body. Your fatigue subsides, and you seem to float in the air, seeing things you had not noticed before. Oh my god. Sleepy. The shadows in the corners taking on shape and color. The subdued lumen light playing on the cultist bone masks. Are they really masks? Their tall, lean, empty-eyed wearers might as well be dead people. A chill runs down your spine. Look around. One moment, the walls of Death's sanctum grow infinitely wide. The next, they are so narrow as to make it hard to breathe. The floors dance under your feet, and the undying Emperor's statue seems to shake its head threateningly as it looks down at you. Medicae. failed. You intend to ask a question, only to find that the seemingly simple idea you had in your mind has eluded you. Instead, you are now reflecting on who it is that decides the fate of a human in this world, and whether or not people are actually masters of their own free will, since everything is ruled by the will of the undying Emperor. What happens now? That is for you to tell. You look to the Vizier, and his trembling frame seems small and insignificant. A single step is all it would take to crush him. But the visions are starting to wear off, and now the old man towers over you. The keen gaze of his sealed eyes is studying your every movement, waiting for a response. Now you are going to initiate me as a servant of death. A servant of death, hisses the echo in whispers from the temple, and the Vizier bows his head reverently. You have become the blood of the flagship. Now you will become one of his faithful servants. We may not name you a spinner, for a spinner's thread demands the forsaking of one's previous life, but the blood-spun web will accept you. The tenets allow it, but only for a Daman who has followed the trailing blood until the end. Like, realistically speaking, this has to be just red paint, you know? Like, there's no way that they have this much blood just in a constant cycle, because it would clot eventually, even if it was flowing like this, and get super gross. Upon the ritual platform, at the Undying Emperor's feet, under his keen gaze of his dark, empty eye sockets, you feel completely insignificant. Surprisingly, the thick blood pouring from his hands onto your brow, chest, and shoulders is still warm. Bowed before his image, the Vizier assumes the ceremonial posture with incredible ease, as his withered body moving swiftly and soundlessly. You are slowly plunged into darkness to the sound of ritual chants and swooshing blades. Amid the noise of splashing blood and the cultist whispers, you hear the words, "Death has spoken your name, Daman Phosphoros. Death accepts you." Yeah, what the hell? Let's take a little tasty taste. A rusty taste fills your mouth, causing a spasm in your stomach. Your head is spinning, but you struggle to determine if it is a thrilling sensation or one of profound revulsion. Offer a prayer to the undying Emperor. Each word consecrated to him echoes in your temples and chest. Your veins become hot, and your blood turns to liquid flame. You have no fear in you. A whisper seems to come from above, from the Emperor's lips of stone. I see. Could the lingering intoxication still be playing tricks on your mind? The strange rash you developed in the freight line's pestilence pit grows pale and scabs over. A healing grace descends upon you. Death has accepted you, Daman Phosphoros, and now, for all time, you are the Blood Warden and the Undying One's most venerable servant. It felt as if the God Emperor was watching. To many, he comes during their time of service, in images of blood and whispers from the shadow. But remember that those are mere visions, for true death will not come for you until your time, and it will take your soul gently in its bony hands. So the ritual is complete? The ritual is complete, but you are not. The Vizier gestures for one of the cultists, who is carefully holding a strange garment, to come closer. For years, we have maintained fealty to the Domini. We have collected sacred symbols and relics. You are the first in 3 generations of lords and ladies to grace this sanctum, and the first of them all to be initiated so. We are grateful. We are uplifted in spirit. Hear our exultations and accept this gift of a vestment sewn from the bones of his faithful with the threads of death. The cultists whisper prayers to the Undying One as they help you change your clothes and regain your faculties. Alright. Well, thank you for the Spinner's Ritual Vestments. I'm gonna be real with you, folks. This is, I'm not wearing this. I'm not wearing this. Congratulations, Kibellah, you have acquired the Spinner's Ritual Vestments, which will give you slightly better armor, and it will give you plus 10 dodge if you're not in cover, and you're never going to be in cover because you're melee. And it also gives you extra wounds equal to your strength bonus, which isn't much, but it's some. And some is better than none. So, yeah. And then we get another level up, which is great. So this is a talent. So, we got break their ranks. What is the upgrade for break their ranks? Break their ranks works as if there were one more enemy adjacent to the target. This allows this ability to be used on targets with no enemies adjacent to them. Okay, so if there's 3 people, it counts as if there were 4. That's neat. Whenever the officer makes an attack, they gain +5 fellowship until the end of combat. That's kind of crazy, actually. Because, like, that doesn't mean I have to hit. That just means I have to shoot. Sorry, I just want to, make sure that we're taking something that's actually going to be useful. Because, like, the upgrade, we're probably going to take the upgrade for break their ranks. Yeah. And then we get a skill here. This is actually only our 2nd skill. So we're going to get Persuasion again. Our Persuasion is now 105. We're going to be talking crazy to people. Abelard. You get another skill as well. We've done Carouse twice. I guess... athletics. I do need someone who's kind of good at athletics, and you are my strength character. You're just a little tired right now. Okay, so... we need the Reckless Strike upgrade, which, if I remember, is Reckless Fury, which means it's now a guarantee. No, actually, we don't. We don't need Reckless Fury. Because we have another way to do that that's better, that doesn't take... Okay, so... Open Engagement would give us +8 damage on our next attack if we start our turn with no one near us. crowd kill would give us 3 damage per enemy in an area, which is neat. Desolation gives 3 extra damage to enemies that have no one adjacent to them. But that's based on agility, which is not super great. Yeah, we're gonna... Honestly, I think this time we're gonna take thick skin. Yeah. Yeah. Because that extra deflection and parry chance is really nice. And it's based on our armor, and our armor is just going to keep going up. You're going to get... We got Aftershock, so this time we're getting Pain Channeling. If a psychic power kills someone, the extra damage goes to the next dude close to them. And then we got a Common Talent, which is also going to go into something silly. Enemies that become target of the Psyker's psychic powers gain a stacking 5% penalty to dodge and parry until the end of combat. That's fucked up. Anytime an enemy becomes a target of any particular psychic power for the first time, this enemy suffers -5 to their intelligence perception, and the Psyker's intelligence and perception increases by 2. That's also kind of fucked. Enemies that have failed a willpower resistance test against any of the Psyker's psychic powers will suffer an additional 6 direct damage every time they suffer mental damage until the end of Mind Siege. Why have I never read that before? That's fucking insane. Because that means I can blind someone and then just get a free 6... I can sensory deprivation someone to give myself a free +6 damage to my next psychic screen. That's insane. You took... Let's see. We do have that. We've taken Point Blank. And we've taken Demolition Engineering. We... Hold on, how many do we get? We get 1, 2, 3. We get 3. 1, 2. We have 3 talents left. So I think we should get... Okay. We should get Exploit Surroundings, Fired Up, and Unpredictable. And we're going to start with Exploit Surroundings. And then this is Demolition. So our Demolition is now 70. Which is good because that... we've got, where is it? Demolition Engineer. 5% damage for every 10 points, so 5 times 7 is 35% damage, which is pretty good. Alright, back down here. This... The Navigator's perception is higher than their agility. Their dodge was calculated using their perception. Her perception is way higher than her agility. That Bumps your dodge up to 85% chance, which is insane. Persuasion. Yeah, I guess we might as well stick with persuasion, just for now. You, my friend, are gonna get awareness. And then we got you... Combat Master, right. Okay. This one is going to be a Dueling Master for 15% parry. Okay. We also got loot we can pick around for.
Let's seize the moment.
Alright, folks. Just finish gathering up all of our bits and bobs. Third spinner. Fourth spinner.
Shame and dishonor.
Ah. Well, I guess, yeah. Shame and dishonor. There was loot up there.
Yeah.
I knew this chest was too... Oh? I don't remember that being here. Whenever the wearer makes a melee attack, they regain a wound. Yes. Obviously. That's an insane item. Because she makes so many melee attacks. Do I have anything further to speak with you about? You have honored us with a visit. We are glad. First spinner. Peace, Kibellah. You are the shield. You are the shadow. You are the blade. So be them. Your traditions and rituals are rooted in blood and death. Many are frightened by that. Many are blind, even with their eyes wide open. Thus spoke the matriarch spider. People look at things without seeing their essence, which makes them easy to beguile or frighten. We adorn the tunnels with the bones of the righteous, and they may guard our faithful against corrupt deeds and thoughts. We use the blood of the unholy ones for divination, so we may see dangers. The blood of martyrs is our wine, for their suffering makes us stronger. People are afraid, but not only because they see death as the end, but only because they see death as the end. Death, however, is a beginning. It is life and duty and oblivion. Death has many facets. That is its essence. That is its beauty. We'll take my leave for now.
Venture forth.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
Okay. You actually have a bunch of ways to regain, AP now. So that isn't a problem for you. Hold on, actually. Did you just get a talent, Kibellah, and I fucked it up already? Oh, that was a common talent. Okay. At your next big talent, we have to get, Blood Rush. That way, your Blood Oath, can also give you movement. And we also need to give you sweeping motions. And race against death. Okay, that's all 3 talents, actually, this is going to take. Cool. To another
Onward to
compartment.
victory.
Let me show you the way, Daman. The way to what? The path to where the lay people dwell is complex, web-like. Let me show you. Take me to the enforcer in charge of the freight line. We have business. Ow. Oh. Captain Frenzo has acquired a few wounds since your last conversation. Half of his ear is gone, and you notice that he's wearing bloody bandages under his uniform. Seeing you, he quickly injects himself with a stimulant and straightens. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Were you in a shootout? Yes, there's been a raid on the local gang. We finally cleared out the scoundrels who were smuggling goods to neighboring compartments. No one escaped. I was attacked. Who dared? I encountered mutants in the Pestilence Pit. They seem to be under the influence of unholy powers. You went to the Pestilence Pit? You, into the Pestilence Pit. Pardon me, Lord Captain, it's just that I can't even begin to find the words I would use if I had to tell the Master-at-Arms that you had perished in there. The enforcers do regular checks to see if there are any dangerous blight-stricken rejects hidden at the bottom of the bay. I implore you, Lord Captain, leave this job to us. There were thieves in one of the technical rooms. I have already dispatched them. Thieves? I just had an enforcer hanged for dealing with a local gang. I had hoped that lesson had been learned. By the Emperor, Lord Captain, why must you be so unconcerned with your own safety? It is our duty to find and shoot lawless scum. Throne, you are going to become the best enforcer at the bay at this rate. I came across a drawing of a worker in a red mask. What does it mean? It's a figure of local legend known as Nemesite, protector of the poor and oppressed. Ever since I was a child, desperate people have been drawing his portrait on the walls, hoping to summon a defender to punish those who wronged them. We've had 13 or so fools calling themselves Nemesite over the past 5 years. We've disburdened ourselves of them, just to be sure. The cultural heritage of this compartment is interesting. Not much can be expected from simple-minded serfs. Enforcers have been appropriating ration cards from workers returning from their shifts. Why is that? The compartment has just enough food to avoid starvation, Lord Captain. This is why enforcers are making sure that no serf has more cards than they're supposed to. They used to rip out people's tongues for it, but I reduced the punishment to simply beating the thieves and confiscating all their cards. The orders are to give these cards to workers who are starving due to a lack of work shifts. Not that it helps them much, but it's better than nothing. Are there enforcers guilty of misappropriating the confiscated items? Yes. Do those caught stealing receive severe punishments? Absolutely. I have finished my inspection. Only harsh measures will bring order to the bay. Establish an execution quota, strip all corrupt officers of their rank, and burn away all crime. Any idlers are to be given a job, and if they cannot do anything useful, servitorize them. Organize mandatory sermons, and spread word of the faith. Will do. We will increase the pressure on the untrustworthy element, conduct searches and interrogations to uncover criminals. We will herd the rabble to prayer services and remind them that your lordship's law is a stern one. Fear not the dark, gained the faultless transport ability. Your flagship's weapons deal 5% more damage and gain 5% increased critical hit chance. By virtue of strict discipline, the freight line delivers munitions with only minimal delay. The crews of the artillery bays now have more time to calibrate and maintain the ship's weapons. I've been told the next bay has a labor shortage. We are going to deploy our workforce reserve there, in shackles if need be. Do your duty, Captain. The orders have been carried out. The compartment is already operating according to new procedure. Good. Also, apparently I missed some loot. I don't like missing loot. Oh wow, hold up. Why are all the VAT cards dead? What? Sweet fucking Christ, what? Stolen autocannon? Jesus. All right. Argento, when's the next time you get a normal talent? Because you're taking heavy weapon proficiency immediately. Could have took that a while ago, actually. I mean, I guess these are all talent. That's a common talent, but yeah. I mean, we also definitely want to take Flame Weapon Expert. And also probably Ultra Expert, too. Is there a solid projectile expert? 2 minimum damage. Hold on. So this gun, which does 4 to 6, so that would just be 6 damage. It would always do 6 damage. That's crazy. I mean, because, hold on. So heavy weapon proficiency. And then there's also overpower, which gives them extra crit damage, extra crit chance, and critical damage. And then isn't there another... Is it not? Oh, we gotta get her second skin, too. Shit. Okay. Hold on. 1, 2... She has 2 talents left. Okay, well, we're definitely getting unpredictable. We're fired up. No, we're gonna get unpredictable. Because that, with exploit surroundings, is crazy. Honestly, there are other ways to get critical damage, even if that is insane. No, we don't need critical hit chance, actually, because of what we're going to take for our next archetype. So actually, yeah, fired up, and then second skin. Because we need second skin. Fuck, okay. Well, I mean, I can't believe all these guys are fucking dead. That's kind of crazy, actually. Like, he had a shock baton. They all had scrappy auto guns. What a fucking...
Marching ahead.
I didn't realize just how fucked up this would get.
Let's see this through.
All right. I tire of this, I tire of this vacation, Abelard. Escort me back to the main deck. Alright, so we will go to the Void Ship Bridge. Before we end for the day, we are going to talk to Kibellah, so we don't have to talk to her before we start the next one. God, I forgot how much there is to talk to with her. I would like to know more about the sacred mysteries of your cult.
The Vizier taught us that there are many like us throughout the Imperium who spill blood in his name. Death cultists, as they call us. He said that no two death cults are the same, just as there are no two identical stars in the void. I will tell you about the blood-spun web, but I cannot speak on behalf of all death cults.
What is the cult's purpose?
The blood-spun web holds the bays of the flagship together with the threads of its faith. Such is our service to the Domini of the von Valancius line. The Undying One commanded the Domini to embark on a ship and sail the void's expanse. And thus, it became our duty to protect your dynasty and the Ark that became its home. This great relic of blood and adamantine. Some loathe and fear us. They call us murderers and reapers. Others call us dancers of death, who send the souls of the dead on their way. Both are right. Both are wrong. We are servants of the undying Emperor. When he whispers that the time has come for a righteous martyr's soul to be laid in his blessed hands, we come to claim it. When he whispers that the wicked must know of his wrath, we come to reap. This is how we maintain order on the ship, unseen and guided by death's will.
How do you know you have never made a mistake? How can you be so sure you have never wrongly robbed one of your victims of their life?
We are carried along by a current of blood in the great river of fate. Life is not given or taken away by chance. If I see an enemy of humanity, my blade will sever the thread of their existence. I will not wait for a sign of his divine bidding. I am his will, and I do what must be done.
Let us speak of something else. How long has the Bloodspun Web been in existence?
Spinners carved the chronicles of our history on the stones of our temple long ago. But fate and time have erased our past, just as an exploding star erases a part of the galaxy from existence.
What are the why do you call yourselves spinners?
Through blood, sweat, tears, and the strength of their convictions, the servants of the Undying One spin the souls of your subjects into threads of balance. This is why we refer to ourselves as spinners. Those who are newly committed to the blood-spun web are called lesser spinners. If they are faithful in their service to him, they may eventually become spinners. The most devout of us all are known as the High Spinners, of whom there are 7, each bearing a unique title. The Vizier, the first spinner, leads the cult. I, Kibellah, am the second spinner. The third spinner's name is Io, and there are 4 more.
You say the God Emperor is death. There are some who might find the comparison blasphemous.
The Undying One is death itself. We serve him, and thus we serve death. This is not a comparison, attribution, or preference. It is the truth, and nothing can change it.
You have satisfied my curiosity. Uh, Tell me about yourself.
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. A spear in the hand of the undying Emperor. I am your shield and shadow. Your blade.
How succinct. Do you dislike talking about yourself? A look of curiosity flashes across Kibellah's face before it is masked by her usual stoic indifference.
The tenets compel us to let our deeds speak on our behalf. There is no one in the cult who does not know me. So I have grown accustomed to taciturnity in matters regarding myself. Ask, and I will try to give you an answer that will satisfy your thirst for knowledge.
Tell me about your past.
I remember nothing of my childhood. The Vizier says this is because of my training and the injuries I received in battle. He told me it is the fate of all high spinners. The only memories I have are of the blood-spun web and the brothers and sisters who serve the cult alongside me.
What was it like growing up in the cult?
When we were young, we would sew our eyes shut and wander through the bays for months at a time. Starving, surviving, dying. This trial of darkness honed the senses of those who passed it. We were elated, for we knew we were blessed by him. When we grew older, we learned to wield our weapons, and our mentors tested us with pain, poison, and the weight of deceitful words. In time, our bodies no longer felt pain. Our blood became resistant to toxins, and our focus could not be shaken. We were at peace, for we had shed everything that could encumber our faithful service to him.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think you were raised in a cult.
When we came of age, we faced a great trial. A year-long vigil spent in unceasing prayer to the Undying One. When hunger and other base sensations faded away, we attained true comprehension of ourselves and our place in the world. Our place between life and death. We were proud, for on that day, he truly accepted us, and we accepted him.
I can see now why you are the best assassin in the cult. The cost was worth it.
Those who devote themselves to the service of the Undying One must be prepared to pay any price. Emotions, blood, life, death, memory. We all must lose what we hold most dear to become a spear in his hand. Some may lose everything, but they will also gain everything.
Do you truly feel no pain at all?
You can see for yourself.
Kibellah removes the small leather pouch from her belt and opens it to reveal several instruments of torture. You know, tormenting yourself seems to almost be pleasant for you.
Is it possible to experience pleasure if one feels nothing?
Okay. Stab the sharp prongs of a steel fork beneath her clavicle.
You have found an interesting use for this tool. yet it still serves its purpose.
Yeah, that's enough.
Do you have other questions?
Thanks for sharing.
It is not difficult to speak the truth.
Did you ever meet Theodora?
I met her once when I was young. The Vizier saw a serpent hiding among those close to Domin Theodora, ready to sink its fangs into her throat. I was ordered to find the serpent and sever the soul from its body. I watched and waited for weeks. I hid among the shadows, the air ducts and the faceless masses. Once I found the serpent, I sliced off its head and returned to the temple. I doubt that Domin Theodora ever saw me, but the 3 ritual cuts I left behind on the body let her know that this death was pleasing to him. They sent us a grand feast from the upper decks before the cycle's end. We gave it to the hungry.
If the Undying One whispers my name, would you carry out his will?
I will listen, but I will make my own decision. Death claims all, one way or another. But it is within my power to stay the sentence.
You always address me as Domin. What does that word mean?
The Gothic we use to communicate is different to that spoken on the upper decks. Domin has many meanings. Giver of life, Lord or Lady of the Ark, and Shadowless Sun. The matriarch Spider gave this title to the rogue trader who allowed her to form the blood-spun web. We use other titles as well. For example, Venai means Master of the Immaterium, or Watcher of the Veil. Vil means one who must go to the other side. Amig means one you can trust in battle.
Tell me of the tarot.
I use blood to read his sacred cards and hear the whisper of the Undying One. His tarot is not an answer, but a question I ask of the universe. And the universe answers with questions of its own. In this sacred communion, I perceive hundreds of possible outcomes. They are all true, and yet they are only visions. I know what will come to pass, and yet I do not.
How did you come to have a deck of the tarot?
It is a holy relic that has been passed down from generation to generation. Only the first and second spinners are allowed to study the sacred cards and interpret their meaning. We use his tarot to guide the cult and discern the tangled threads of fate.
How many cards are in your deck?
34. There used to be more, but some have perished in the darkness of time. Their loss is a great tragedy for the blood-spun web.
The tarot is usually read by psychers.
I am the spear of his retribution, not a witch or a sorcerer or a soothsayer. I have no strange powers, but I do bear his blessing. I do not command the veil. I am guided by his whisper and led by my faith, by the tenets. Please, do not mistake me for something I am not.
Kibellah. Oh, Warp failed. That's a shame. don't know who rolled that test. Adira rolled the test. God, you had a 75% chance. Or a 71% chance. Kibellah does not appear to possess any psychic powers. If she has a gift, it is limited to the reading of cards. Well, can you give me a reading?
Ask the cards, Domin, and I will listen.
What does the future hold? Kibellah draws 4 cards from the deck and lays them face down before you.
The first card is the young warrior. It suggests inexperience, a path of becoming. The second card is the shattered world inverted. The path will have twists, turns, and thorns, but you will gather allies along the way. The third, the hound inverted. Someone has marked you as their prey and is chasing you through a field of traps. The lost child. You will leap into one of those traps of your own free will and place your trust in someone truly desperate.
Thank you. I understood nothing. Let us speak of something else. I must take my leave.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
Alright. Well, that is, that's gonna be it for today, because we're actually almost up on 4 hours now. But I hope you all had a wonderful time. Thank you all for being here. Remember to hit that follow button, because we are going to be playing through all of Rogue Trader on stream. Yeah. You can also find me at Tumblr and Twitter through the links in the description or the about for my channel. I hope you all have a good day. Stay hydrated.